that causing the higher interest rate is the highest inflation factor, right? So the idea here is that if inflation premium, if risk-free rate is increased and it causes nominal interest rate to increase, then we say that its currency would appreciate. If question is silent, then we assume that the inflation premium is increased, which is causing our nominal interest rate to increase, and the answer would be it should decrease, because high inflation means its currency should depreciate. So you guys understand? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move further. So if the real interest rate of interest is constant over time, the nominal interest rate is in a country has to adjust over the time changes in its expected inflation over time. So real interest rate, which is risk-free rate, or the real rate, if real rate increases, then we can say that its currency should appreciate, right? In IRP, we say if interest rate is increase, and we talk about over there the nominal interest rate. We don't segregate between nominal and real interest rate, right? If interest rate increase, its currency should appreciate. But IFE suggests that if nominal rate increased, its currency should decrease. And why is that? Because in nominal part, nominal interest rate increased due to this inflation premium, due to this inflation part in the interest rate. So that's why its currency should depreciate. So apply the Fisher effect to derive expected inflation per country. Let's talk about this. The first step is to derive the expected inflation rate of the two countries based on the Fisher effect. The Fisher effect suggests that the nominal interest rate of two countries differ because of expected inflation between the two countries. So relying on PPP to estimate the exchange rate movement, then second step you need to find out is that you apply the theory to determine that how the exchange rate would change in response to the expected inflation between the two countries. So how you can apply it? By looking at their interest rate. First step is you find out their interest rate, and among the interest rate you see their real interest and inflation premiums, or you find out the inflation part. And then second part is by looking at the inflation, so whichever inflation is higher, its currency should go down, right? So your analysis is not based on interest rate. Right? the decision is not based on interest rate, rather decision is based on inflation. So that is the crux of international Fisher effect. While in interest rate parity, the decision is on interest. Understand? So those who don't understand that, please say repeat. So I will repeat all this. If no, then I will move forward.
Could you repeat it once again, please?
Okay. David, here we go. So the international Fisher effect, it says that interest are given, and the given interest that is given, or that is the bank give you, or the interest rate that is announced by the central bank, it is nominal interest. And nominal interest is equal to real interest rate plus inflation premiums, or right? So if you are analyzing on the basis of international Fisher effect, then international Fisher effect gives you two steps. Number one, you need to identify the parts of interest into real interest and its inflation, right? And second, then you apply on the basis of, this is both countries. Sorry. Both countries' interest real rates and inflations, right? And then you see the relative inflation between. So you don't decide on the basis of interest rate, rather you decide on the basis of inflation. So whichever the country got higher inflation, its currency should depreciate. David,
Okay.
understand?
Yes, certainly. Thank you.
Okay. While the interest rate parity, it says that if in both country you see the relative interest, and it just give you decision rule. If relative interest is higher in some country, that country's exchange rate should increase. So interest rate parity decide on the basis of interest rate, while international Fisher effect decision is based on sorry, based on inflation, right? Let's talk about this. So
Thank you.
implications of international Fisher effect. Let me read that. The international Fisher effect suggests that the currencies with highest or high interest rate will be having a higher expected inflation, and the relatively high inflation will cause currencies to depreciate. Now you understand this point, right? I explained it to you. The second one, what are the implications for foreign investors? The implications are similar for foreign investors who attempt to capitalize on relative high interest rates. The foreign investor will be adversely affected by the effect of relative high US inflation rate if they try to capitalize on high US interest rate. What does it mean? So these are the interest rate. Let me just denounce it with R. If in China the interest rate is 5% and in US it is 10%. International Fisher effect. It says that if you just see the interest rate and you just bluntly invest in this country to earn or to capitalize this 10%, so you wanted to earn this extra 5%, and you say that, okay, I will be earning this extra 5% and my return is going to be 10%, and I am here in China. So what will happen after 1 year? The US dollar will be depreciated by 5%, right? And when you convert back your currency, you ended up earning 5%, plus you will be paying transaction cost, plus difference in taxes as well, plus any other cost as well. So that's why you will be adversely affected. So this happen in uncovered, if your position is not covered. What if you invest here and then you also purchase forward or future? Through your analysis, you find out that right now the market don't know this condition and you purchase the forward. So whatever is the spot rate after 1 year, you don't care, you are already entered into forward, you will be converting that into forward. So that will be covered, not uncovered. So that's why we talk about this covered arbitrage, uncovered arbitrage. So arbitrage we will talk about in next class extensively, how you can make a profit, right? If you don't understand regarding this covered or uncovered right now, don't worry about that. In our next lecture, we will be talking, heavily on covered and uncovered stuff. Covered mean when you take precautions regarding your future move, unfavorable move, you account for all the possibilities in advance. So that's why when you have invested here and you also purchase forward, that's why we talk about the cover interest arbitrage. Otherwise, what happen when you take back your dollars to yuan, dollar will depreciate 5% and you ended up earning the same amount of 5% return, plus you have to pay transaction cost, taxation as well, right? So what did you really learn about from this TPP, IRP, and this international Fisher effect? Anyone? What did you really learn? Nicola?